And now I am a network marketing multimillionaire. I say multi because even though it's not in the bank, right? I don't know where that first million went. Sam, I don't know. Hopefully you didn't have that problem. But when I got the Millionaires Club trophy, I was like, but wait. I had a lot of fun on my journey to Millionaires Club. And it was something that in the very beginning, so I'll take you all the way back, I was running a ladies only gym and a woman walked into my gym and blitzed me. She wasn't perfectly put together. She wasn't, tiny, skinny little six-pack ab blonde. She was just a normal, everyday woman. I'm sure she was shaking in her boots, but she walked in and she handed me a blitz card. And I don't really remember what I said to her. I was really judgy in the back of my mind, as most of us were when we learned about the Ultimate Body Applicator. And she just did her due diligence. She found me on Facebook, and I started seeing that she was making posts and people were commenting. They didn't believe the results. They wanted to know more about the results. And so I was angry. Anger was my driving force for a lot of years. It's pretty much what I was raised on. I'm a thoroughbred when it comes to being angry and making stuff happen. So that's a whole other story on how you have to realign once you realize you're not angry anymore. You're real happy and you just want to love. But I finally just got mad enough to reach out to her and say, listen, I want to try this thing. She didn't give me any options. It was, all right, it's $199. And I really was only trying it with the intention to prove that it didn't work. I knew that this went against everything that I had learned in my industry. I worked with a lot of muscle meatheads, a lot of guys in the gym moving metal. And when I transitioned over to my ladies only gym, I saw a very different story. The guys that were moving metal, they didn't get approached with anything. They didn't get approached with shakes and pills and, all these things that are mass marketed to women. So when she walked into my gym, I just immediately figured it was another thing that somebody was trying to sell to my ladies to discourage them from listening to me. I felt threatened by it because I knew that the only way you were going to get those results was work harder, run faster, less salt, less sugar, more water, no Oreos, just do the work and you'll be fine. But honestly, deep down, I knew that the hardest part of my job was getting you to show up. And then the second hardest part of my job was after we had achieved the number on the scale, seeing that look on your face when you just weren't happy with the body that you saw staring back at you, that loose, sagging skin. There was nothing I could do about it. And I actually had a partnership with a plastic surgeon a city over who would give my clients 15% off tummy tucks because that was all we knew on how to remove skin. And so trying the wrap for me was really just, it was blind faith because I wanted to prove that it didn't work, but I feel like even to this day that there was something in me that believed it could. And she didn't, like I said, she didn't give me the option. So it was $199 to become a distributor then. And guys, I was working 70 hours a week on a less than $30,000 a year salary. So if you break that down, I wasn't even making minimum wage. I was barely paying my bills. And this was at a peak for me in my life. Previous to that, like I said, I was a professional screw up. So if you want to name it, I've probably been there. I probably drank it. I probably said it. I probably stole it. I probably did whatever. I wasn't in a great place. I had been at rock bottom and just started to dig myself out when I got the job at the gym. And lo and behold, this freaking thing worked. It worked. At 45 minutes, I saw results. My boyfriend, now husband, saw results. And I just remember standing there in my one-bedroom apartment that we called the dungeon because it only had one window that faced a garage. So it was just always dark, always dingy, always, we didn't have furniture. Everything was given or got from Goodwill. And I just barely poking my head above water. So when it worked, I knew I had my hands on the golden ticket. It did not take anything else to convince me of that. I knew I had an opportunity that people would spend their entire lifetime trying to find. However, I didn't know really what was going to happen. My delusions of grandeur where I'm going to be a multimillionaire. I'm going to be so rich. This thing is insane. This is mind-blowing. But there was that part of me that was afraid to to think that or believe that. So I just said $500 a month would really change things for me. My rent was $550 a month. So that would take care of my rent, which would leave my 70-hour work week enough to pay the bills and have a couple of beers, right? Where I would love to get a steak at TGI Fridays, which I couldn't afford at the time. And man, 30 days in, I went diamond. No, 60 days in, I went diamond. 30 days in, I went ruby. I went to my first conference as ruby, and on the stage was Joel and Stephanie Dunn, who are now our #1 money earners in black diamonds. If you don't know what a black diamond is, it means you make $100,000 a month for 6 months in a row. That's what qualifies you as a black diamond. A month, guys, not a year, a month. I have to reiterate this because it's real, and I want you to know if you take away anything from this Zoom tonight, it's what is available to you, what you can have and you can acquire and you can achieve if you put your head down and you get some work done and you have some fun and you learn how to love what you're doing. So they were standing on stage as double diamonds, making about $5,000 a month, and I thought, man, $5,000 a month, I could live off of that. And so I went diamond that very next month. So 60 days in, just blasted, went out of the water. And you guys are probably thinking, oh, well, you were a personal trainer, so that was easy for you. But it wasn't, because 2 weeks after I started with It Works, I showed up at 5 a.m. to open the gym, and there was a slew of women standing outside, and they were pissed. Everything was gone. The equipment was gone. The doors were locked. They were changed. Now, the problem with this situation is I had just sold them a new re-up on their membership at a cash price. So you had to pay me a year in advance for a year's worth of the membership, and you had to give me cash. That was the special that the gym was running. I didn't realize that really what he was doing was just taking our customers for everything they had. He knew that we were going to get shut down. And so immediately, in a drop of a bucket, I found myself staring at no clientele. My name has now been dragged through the mud. I have no rapport. They are not going to believe anything that I say. And I've got this business that I'm not even quite sure what to do. We didn't have steps to success then. They just said, sign distributors, sign customers, go. And so that's exactly what I did. The first person that joined my team was a security guard that I blitzed at a concert. I said, is this all you do for income? And he said, no, my wife works at Olive Garden and I pick up odd-end jobs and sometimes I bartend. And I said, well, would you guys be interested in making some extra money from home? And he said, yes. And so he joined the team, posted on Facebook that he was going to come meet me for coffee and we were going to talk business, and somebody else in Utah saw that, joined the team. Or somebody else in Michigan saw that, joined the team. She posted on Facebook that she was going to come and meet me for coffee and business. And somebody in Utah joined, which ultimately led to Samantha joining and to Dana joining. So you guys, sidelines all come from the same leg for me. And that leg was the first distributor that I signed, who posted something, who ended me up in Utah and signed this incredible group of people. Samantha, just crazy young couple, comes into this and just, they saw it. They saw the vision. They got it. They didn't need the guidance. They didn't need anything. And so it was a blessing for me that I had the faith-led action, that I took that faith-led action to blitz that guy, because I didn't know anything other than blitzing, because I was blitzed, right? And so the next person to join my team was my husband. You know how that goes. I spin my wheels building that business for about 4 years. The third person to join my team, I said, all right, Facebook isn't working for me. My gym clientele is not working for me. Every friend that I called and told I was going to be rich, do you want to come with me? They all laughed at me. In fact, my very best friend refused to have a party for me. She wouldn't help me out in the slightest. And so I very quickly started to realize that the people I thought were really excited for my success and would want me to do better in life didn't really want that for me at all. And so there were a lot of lessons that came with that first year and a lot of hurt. But damn it, I knew what I wanted, and I was given the opportunity to get it, and so I took it. So I went to a wings place that I used to work at, a beer and wings. And I just said, I'm going to wrap one of these servers before I leave here today. I'm not freaking leaving. That was my intention going there. I will wrap someone. And it took a long time. I had a few beers, and the girls avoided me every chance they could get. And I remember she goes, oh, you know, we would try one of those wrap things, but we've got to go work this festival for a church. And I was like, it's drill weekend. Like, my man's not coming home tonight. I don't have anything to do. I'll go to the festival with you. And you could just see it on their face. They were like, oh, she's following us. But I'm persistent, and I knew that what I had worked, and I knew that I couldn't be the only crazy person in the city that would see that and want to make some money, especially in the service industry. Y'all hate your job. Don't lie to me and act like you don't. I worked there for 12 years. I know you do. I'm not giving you another freaking pancake to your snotty little 2-year-old that's going to end up all over the floor. You know, I knew that life so well. So I had nothing but faith to follow them there. And late at night, about 10 p.m., I wrapped the manager behind a truck in the middle of the woods at a carnival at a church while I was half drunk. It worked out beautifully. She bloated. Did you know that's a thing? I didn't know that was a thing until that very moment. And so I remember texting my upline, and I'm like, what does this mean? And she's like, bloaters are gloaters. It's a good thing. So I said what I knew. Bloaters are gloaters. It's a good thing. Call me tomorrow when you're skinny. You're going to love it. And I went home like, man, all of that for freaking nothing. Well, thankfully, she had results the next day, and her better half saw that this was an incredible opportunity, and they both signed up. Next thing I know, that leg passed me. So I'm at double diamond by this point. That leg goes triple diamond. Samantha's leg goes triple diamond. My whole team is running past me, and here I am at double diamond. Remember when I said $5,000 a month is what Joel and Stephanie were making? That was that first threshold for me. I went, I could live on that. And I was making about $5,000 a month when I hit my head for the first time and realized, like, what I'm doing is not working. I've got ambassadors popping up. I know you guys are like, oh, this is such a hard problem to have. But I had ambassadors popping up on 2 legs. So this hard part had been done for me. And all I had to do was prove that I was willing to go find the rest of it, to go build the rest of it. And so it took about 2 years before I realized the problem was me. I wasn't willing to take responsibility. This was way before I knew anything about building. I went 33 wide on my front line, banging my head against the wall. I wouldn't listen to these young kids. Samantha came in and they're like, we're building and it's working for us. And I was like, yeah, okay, you guys go ahead and do that. I'm going to stay over here and keep doing what's not working for me. And so thankfully they stayed by my side and kept telling me, it's working, it's working, it's working. And I remember the day, actually, that I had to call all of you. And I said, all right, guys, I was wrong. There's a better way of doing this. And Samantha and Anthony were like, finally! And the veil was lifted. And it was like, as soon as I made the decision to stop putting so much pressure and need and being so salty, because my whole thing was nobody gave me anything. Nobody put an order on my team. Nobody placed a distributor on my team. Nobody sat down and did a PowerPoint presentation because, yes, that's what we had, and giant big flip charts. Nobody did that for me. There were no one team, one missions. There were no corporate conference calls. There were no green carpets. There was none of that. We didn't have any of the tools. There weren't T-shirts. There wasn't website landing pages. There wasn't Facebook business. There wasn't any of this. It was go your own way and figure it out. And so right about the time that I made the decision to do things differently and to give and to love and to believe instead of sit there like this, like, well, I did it, so they better do it too. Well, I'm not going to put anything there because nobody gave me anything. About the time I changed that mindset and I started celebrating everybody on my team who was passing me, I started to realize Samantha and Anthony were making more money than me, and they were higher in the top 100, but they had babies. They had babies to feed. And they were feeding those babies because I said yes to this business. And so even though I couldn't take any credit for what they had accomplished, I took some credit for myself in the sense that I made the decision to do this. And now, because I said yes, they said yes. And look at what they get to do. And they're winning. And I started to feel my teams and my sideline success as if it was my own. And 6 months later, Triple Diamond. 4 months after that, Presidential Diamond. 6 months after that, ambassador diamond. And then I did the same thing with my husband's account all the way up to presidential. And I did that in less time than it had taken me to get through double diamond, right? So there's something to be said about persistence. There's something to be said about grit and determination. If you're still here, you need to give yourself credit, first of all, for making it through what most people won't. Because while I was banging my head against the wall, but had decided that I would get through it, I watched a lot of people quit, including my upline, who to this, today would be freaking probably close to black diamond, if not already. If she wasn't something of the Antichrist. And so it was a blessing she quit. But, the journey has been a crazy, good, awesome one. It's been so much fun, there's so much, I can't pack it into the time that we have here, but I went from having and feeling like nothing to finding a purpose and a voice and being able to take absolutely everything I've ever put on my dream board up until this point off. And so I was faced with this new fun challenge recently of getting to dream bigger than my little brain could even think of when I started this business. It Works has uncovered so many dreams in my heart that I didn't even know existed. I would have never found them if I was still in the grind, if I was still 9 to 5. And I've essentially, I know Samantha can say the same thing, I've grown up in this business. It's been 8 years. I was 24 when I started. I'm now married and a mother, and my business has paid for my dream wedding, my honeymoon, 3-4 house upgrades. We were 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom to a 3 bedroom to a split level to a place on the water in Florida to building our dream home. So don't look at my highlight reel and think you're never going to have that. What you're missing is all of those baby steps that got me here. And, you might not have faith in yourself right now. And you might not know corporate well enough to have faith in them. But what you absolutely must have faith in is Samantha, is Dana, is me, because we're sitting here, we're living proof of what this business can do. And we're telling you to trust the system. Trust the system because it works. There's so much more that goes into building and being successful than just following the steps to success. But the core of what we do is the steps to success. Now, the key is just figuring out how can you become the best version of yourself, the most authentic version of yourself? How can you love yourself to the best of your ability? How can you give the best of yourself? And how can you have as much fun as freaking possible and make as many friends as possible while doing it? Something crazy happened where when I didn't have to clock in anymore, I got to sit there and think about, what do I want to do with my life now? Like, people don't get all day to themselves. I'm home all day. My husband is home all day. My daughter is now lived her first year of life, never having to be separate from her parents. We've watched every step, every tooth, every diaper because we want it, because that was on my dream board. Down the road, I'm sure I'll put nanny up on that dream board. But right now, I want to raise my children. That's what I worked for. That's what I wanted. And so I hope that today you guys have a breakthrough. And a breakthrough is a moment where it goes from impossible to I'm fucking doing this. It's a breakthrough is when you know that you've had a breakthrough because you're no longer talking about it. You're just doing it. And you guys get it. 1, 2, 3, follow the steps to success. But maybe what you don't get is what it looks like on the other end of the rainbow, what it looks like if you stick here. And what you guys have to understand is that most people will quit, right? Most people will fail. Most will fall back. And if you guys study most, that's exactly what you'll do too. But you're on this Zoom and you're not studying most. You're studying the 1%. You're studying the top 100. You're studying the lifers, the people who have been here. We've been through so many seasons in business. We've loved each other. We've hated each other. We've come back together. We've grown together. We've grown apart. We've grown back together. We've had so many aha moments about ourselves, about each other, about our team, about the business. We've literally done everything that you've set out wanted to do. And so study us and acknowledge yourself. Just right here tonight, acknowledge yourself and thank the part of you that hasn't given up. Because a lot of people give up in their first 72 hours. A lot of people give up in their first month. And so I want you to just take a minute right now and acknowledge the fact that you have not given up. You are not most. If you were most, you would not be on the Zoom. I'll tell you, between these two girls, they've got thousands of people on their team. And you're the ones that are here tonight. You know why? Because you're hungry. And that's what it takes to be successful. You have to have that deep, burning hunger. I can tell you that while I was in alignment on my way to ambassador, and alignment means you listen and you're led. You're inspired and you do. You don't question it. You don't think about it. You do what is placed on your heart to do, right? And so that blitz was totally inspiration. Anytime I get that little voice, it's like, don't do it. I have to. I must. I challenge anything that tries to pop up and slow my roll, because I know me. I know what self-sabotage looks like. I've been there quite a few times. I know what homeless looks like. I've been there. I know what the bottom of a vodka bottle looks like. I've been there. Like, I don't want to go back to any of that. And so the hunger in me is the absolute desire to never, ever have a worry or want for money, to always have an abundance and to be able to give any freaking given moment. I want to be able, Samantha and Anthony were able to adopt a child because of this business. My best friend has been trying for 10 years. I want to have so much money that I don't even flinch when I drop 50 grand to help them adopt their baby. And then another so that they can have two. But they really want a family of 4. So I would love to fund all of that, right? And not just give them the money for that, but set them up. Like, how many dreams do you have in your heart that you just choose to ignore along the way? The how of all of this, you guys, because we could sit here for hours. Dana and Samantha have tips on tips on tips on tips on tips on how you make money, how you network, how you sign a loyal customer, how you close the deal. They're constantly pouring into you with those tips and tools, and they're available to you. If Samantha and Dana don't do it for you, guess what? The beautiful thing is you don't have to be everybody's cup of tea in this business. I'd rather be a shot of whiskey. Dana's like a shot of tequila or some crazy shit that I only take every once in a while. And Samantha, in my opinion, Samantha's like a fireball. Like, she's like that spicy one that you know you're going to drink it, you're going to have a good time. It might be a hangover the next day, but you're definitely going to have some. If we don't do it for you, there's so many leaders in this business that you can connect to that have tools available to you all over YouTube, throughout our groups. But the biggest thing is, don't compare yourself to anyone. Realize that we're not trying to shove you into a box. We're not trying to tell you who you should be. We're encouraging you to be the best version of yourself and to stop focusing on how and to focus on why. Why are you doing this? Why are you in the business? What do you want to happen? And my why has always been money. Money. Money and friends. I've always wanted to belong. I tried out for every team, elementary school, leadership team, softball, anything throughout high school. I made the volleyball team, which I couldn't do. My parents couldn't afford, so they put me in community ed, $75 for the season. We could do that. I made the softball team. Can't play softball because you can't go to softball camp. We can't afford the gear, but you can play community ed because we could do that. I tried out for everything, and a lot of times I made it, but we couldn't afford it. And so I knew that pain growing up and knew that I didn't want that for my child. So I used to feel guilty, and you guys, Samantha and Dana, when you guys watch the Zoom today, you'll hear Carla say it. An aha moment for me was when I sat down with the soon-to-be Black Diamond and I said, why Black Diamond? And she said, money. Mind you, this is one of the most godly women I know and follow, a mentor that I look up to greatly, who's been in the business for 12 years. She was a triple diamond in the top 10, so don't think you have to be at the top to make your place in the top 100, because you can make a giant splash right where you're at, just focusing on maximizing the compensation plan. She said money, and I looked at her all bug-eyed, like, I expect her to be like, oh, part the seas, build an orphanage, feed all the babies, like something crazy that I felt like maybe just wasn't for me. And she said money. She goes, not to give to my church, not to give back to this, because I want to jet and I want to travel and I want to inspire and I want to have fun and I don't ever want to worry about money ever again. Now, I know if you keep talking to her and you keep dusting them off and you keep uncovering, there's so many things that she gives to. There's so many things that she does. There's so many people that she inspires, and the ripple effect that she creates is so huge that I started to understand that her having the money and being able to get on the jet suddenly takes her from making an impact with me sitting in her backyard to making an impact in Europe, to making an impact in Asia, to making an impact in Australia, to be able to travel internationally and build her business. That's what she wanted to do. That's what she's doing. And so when she gave me permission to really just want money and to be able to say that out loud, I felt this huge sigh of relief, because for so long I felt like maybe my why wasn't good enough anymore. Because my why originally was to get my head above water. My why originally was to bring my husband home from the military, to give him options. Right? He doesn't have to be home. Just do whatever you want. And it wasn't the military. He's done with it after 13 years. And I was tired of seeing him suffer. And so your why is going to grow. It's going to change. You've got to, constantly, or your how, your why's got to evolve with you. But at the core of it, it's always going to be the same. And I see it so often with people walking around saying, how am I going to do this? The how has been clearly explained to you many times. Now the question is, what are you going to do? What do you want to do? That's what you should be asking yourself. What do you want? My 3 questions. What do you want? Why do you want it? And what is holding you back from having that right now? Every person's life is either a warning or an example. The beginning of my life, I was definitely a warning. Now, I know I'm an example, and I'm going to continue to be so. And I know that Samantha and Dana, we're focused on being the lighthouse, on showing you through our actions how to do what we're doing. We want to inspire you to see where you're going. We can't sit here and be a life raft and try to save every one of you. Success is not given to any of us, but it is provided for all of us. The potential for success is right freaking here. And if you think you've missed the boat because you didn't start 8 years ago when we did, you are out of your damn mind. Because we were spinning our wheels for years trying to figure out what corporate has put together in bite-sized pieces for you. They literally hand you it on a silver platter. And sometimes I get irritated because I'm like, you know what? These kids have it so, I call them kids because I'm like old kid camp, right? These kids have it so easy. They get the training, they get the corporate calls, they get green carpets, they get promotions. We didn't have promotions like that. What you talking about, Willis? There were no bonuses like this, check matches. What is that? That's insane. And you can join for $99. I personally think it should be like $4.99 to join our business. I would like to eliminate some of the riffraff and the poor people mindset. I was broke as a joke when I started, but I started because I was looking for a way out. I was actively praying in my life every night, give me a way out. Help me see the opportunity. I know I'm not just meant to freaking pay bills and die. I could feel it in my soul. I even had a vision one time that I was leading a group of people, and I joked with one of my friends that group of people, maybe we were going into the apocalypse and I was saving a large group or something, and I joked about it. And years later, it works came into my life, and I realized that vision was this right now. That vision was me leading a team into their dreams, into whatever they want to do, their passions. And so I just really want you guys to know that your impatience is causing you pain, and you're choosing to suffer. When I started, Cammie gave me a beautiful blessing. She made me promise her 5 years. And I remember laughing at her because I didn't even dedicate 5 years of my college education. I quit 12 hours short of my bachelor's degree, you guys. I couldn't dedicate 5 years to that. I had quit everything I had ever started at that point, except for the bad habits. I kept those ones along for a while, right? But I thought, you know what? She goes, give me 5 years and I'll teach you how to make $100,000 a month. And I thought, man, I can't even find somebody willing to offer me that a year, let alone the opportunity to make that in a month. And so I blindly shook her hand and I said, I'm in. 5 years, you get the best of me. My 5-year anniversary came when I walked up to Mark Pentecost and I had my head hanging and I said, Mark, I've got to confess something. He said, what's that? I call him Papa Bear. So he's like, what's that? I promised you 5 years of my best, and I gave it a really good shot, but I didn't give it my best. And he just like kind of puzzled, like not really knowing what I was saying. I think he thought maybe I was like gonna quit or something. But he just kind of looked at me and I stuck my hand out and I said, I'm gonna give you the next 5 years, and this time I really mean the best. And he shook my hand and gave me a big hug and told me how proud he was and how, much he's seen me grown over the years and whatnot. And the impatience that you have thinking so short term, thinking about what you're going to have today, thinking about what you're going to make this month. I mean, yes, it's important to have these goals, but I want you thinking about where are you at 3 years from now? Where are you at 5 years from now? We heard there's a new number 2. I can tell you right now, new number 2 hasn't been in for 5 years. We've been in for 8. I told Samantha, I said, if this does anything for us, I hope it's a huge effing wake-up call, because somebody came in and in half the time that we've been here made it to top 2. What does that say? That says that maybe we haven't been in alignment. Maybe we haven't been really stretching ourselves and going after the people that we know could change our business. And so I would advise you guys tonight, before you get off this call, know right now who are 3 people that if they said yes would change the face of your business. I call them the white whales. Who are your white whales? My white whale was a black diamond in another company, basically making about $160,000 a month in another company that's predominantly overseas in Asia. And I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. We're opening up in Asia. I'm suddenly competition. I'm gonna go for it. So I called him, and he was very flattered, and he was very sweet. And when he declined to join, he said, I've followed you for years now, and I have to tell you that I'm very jealous of how fulfilled and how passionate and how connected you are to your team. He goes, I'm making a lot of money, but I'm wickedly unfulfilled. And he goes, so you just keep calling me when you feel the need to call me, because you never know. You might catch me at a time where I'm ready to change. And what caught me off guard was he told me, Sarah, you married your first company, and that's just not normal. He goes, I admire you. I've been in the industry for 18 years, and I've been with 15 different companies. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you mean what? You're test running all these companies? Like, this is bananas, right? When I
Sarah.
think about Dana, are you trying to Samantha? Yeah.
I think it might cut us off, and like I don't want to cut you off because I think we could listen for like ever.
Well, what we can do is it's not letting me up.
So we'll definitely.
What? So what we can do is everyone can sign off, and then
we'll
and come back, and I promise
have to like get on.
It's not letting me upgrade. Like I'm hitting the button, and it's not moving.
Okay. So get off and come right back on for a little bit longer.
We're gonna do it. Everybody jump off.
Wait, hold on. I might be either hop off or get back on. Let's see if this will work.
Okay, get off and jump right back on, y'all.
Okay. Oh.
Are we good?
It should go. It should go. It lets me. Okay. There.
Okay. Yeah, I just got a warning that we're good. Okay.
Okay. So we're back. Sorry, you guys. Apparently, I don't know how to upgrade an account, and it wasn't letting me go.
Well, Dana, you should have known better. You were like 25 minutes. I was even on a Zoom before you, and I was like, I don't know how I want to say this in 25 minutes. I'm going to try.
was all set up for that way. But anyway, we're good. So,
you know, so I don't remember where I was at with that because of squirrel, but you know, my white whale, my guy,
you were just saying how like he said it was awesome.
That was awesome that I married my first company, and he had been with 15 other companies, and to hear him say like, keep calling because you never know. And he's $160,000 a month earner with the company he's at. Take the chance, because if you contact your white whale, if you have those 3 people, I'm talking about who are the 3 most influential people that you know right now. Who are the 3 most networked people that you know right now? Is it the mayor? Is it somebody who works on a radio station? Is it someone who runs an awesome moms group on Facebook? Is it somebody that runs vendor events? Is it somebody with a boutique? Is it the dean of your kid's school? Is it, you know, just whoever those people are for you? Who are the 3 most powerful people that you know that if they did join your business, they would change the face of it? Write them down and reach out to them and see if they're interested in making any extra money. Because I'll tell you what, successful people are always interested in making more money. I have yet to sit down at a table with multimillionaires that aren't talking about strategies and plays that they can make more. They always are. And so you're not offending them by offering them the opportunity to make more, especially nowadays where things are changing. The largest transfer of wealth is coming upon us. In the next 5 to 7 years, the largest transfer of wealth will happen in America. And you guys get to decide if you're going to be a part of that. And so, you know, stop falling into the tyranny of how. Stop asking how. How comes last. And Samantha and Dana tell you how every day. So if you're still asking how, you're just not paying attention. And it's gutless. To believe that nothing will work takes absolutely no courage. You're gutless if you're sitting here thinking, I don't believe that's going to work, because I'm telling you, all you have to do is have courage, have faith, and try again. We have all tried so many things that haven't worked. There have been seasons in our business where Samantha and Dana and I are like, what are you doing? And then we have one breakthrough, one aha moment, one thing that changes the game. So I hope that when you get off this call that you feel my energy coming through. What I do to get on a call like this, and this is something that you need to master moving forward. Oh, your next homework assignment is find the song that does it for you. Okay, there's a song for each and every one of you that when that comes on and you're out with your girls, your state changes, you start shaking your ass immediately. Y'all scream when you see each other. Like whatever it is, find that song, and I want you to put it on in your headphones, and I want you to get into state before you send those 3 people a message. I want you to have so much freaking energy coming through your voice memo to them, because you ain't texting a white whale. You're sending them a message, right? You don't text them a video if you got some real guts, right? I've been practicing that lately. I'm going after some big influencers who have way more influence than I do. And I knew the only way to get their attention above all of the noise was to make a video specifically tailored for them. Okay, we got a little bit of something over here. You want to hit mute again, Dana? Okay. You know, get into state. And so how do you get into state? You're going to put that music on, your headphones, blaring it in your car, whatever you've got to do. For me, my song is called Animals. It's a techno song, and it's got a really great beat, and it swears a lot, and it just gets me all jacked up. And I listen to it before I go on stage. I listen to it before I speak. I listen to it before I Zoom. I listen to it before I sit down to do my prospecting for a day. I listen to it if something puts me in a salty place. I use it to just change my state. You're going to know your state has changed because you're not going to be sitting there like this. You're not going to be sitting there like this. You're not going to be like scrolling on Facebook. You're going to be up. You're going to be alert. You're going to be excited. Your energy is here. That's the man or woman, I don't know if we've got any guys on us, that's the woman that needs to come to the table to run the business. It always requires a different version of yourself to rank up in this company. Always. You want to go to triple diamond, you cannot be the same person you were at double diamond. You want to go to presidential diamond, you cannot be the same person you were at triple, and so on. And I know for me and Samantha, the place that we've been at is trying to figure out who this next version of ourselves is going to be, calling on that badass bitch who's going to take us there, because it requires energy, it requires courage, it requires faith, and it requires action, inspired action. Because you guys, if you're sitting here and you're saying, this isn't working for me, I'm sending messages and it's not coming back, well then what's happening here is you're just doing. Right? You're doing, but you don't actually believe that what you're doing is going to work. And your actions and your thoughts don't meet up, it won't work. And so if you find yourself and you're like, I'm doing all the things and it's just not working, I want you to take a second and ask yourself, what have you been saying to yourself? Because if you're saying that it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And if you're saying your newbie's going to quit, your newbie's going to quit. If you're not expecting anything of yourself, you're not going to bring anything of yourself. You get what you tolerate, right? And so you need to set that standard for yourself, for your team, for your business, for your paycheck, for your friends, for the people you choose to surround yourself with. And don't settle. Do not settle. Because if you start settling, you're going to find yourself 3 years from now settling for way less than you ever thought you deserved. And this business has just helped me realize how powerful the people are that I surround myself with, because I grew up here. And so entering mom life and joining a mom's group was a huge eye opener for me, because I've been surrounded by people in this company for 8 years who have breathed life into my dreams, just like this Zoom right here. Surrounded by people who we get together and we celebrate each other. Surrounded by people who, when Samantha tells me that she wants to buy a 50-acre ranch and stock it with all the cattle she could ever want and not have to ever worry about how she's going to pay for it or where that money is going to come from, I would not bat an eye. I would, sweet, that's awesome, let's do it. What's it going to take? You're in a place where we're not going to doubt you. We're not going to doubt you. We're not going to doubt the dreams on your heart. But we are going to spur you forward. And you know, if you're just lying to yourself and you're not willing to take responsibility for where you're at or what you're doing, we're going to leave you behind. And that's just how it is. It's no hard feelings. But if any of you watch the horse races, or I like to pull out my redneck roots and say NASCAR, if any of you watch NASCAR, you know you'll never see the person in number one slow their car or slow their horse to keep up with the person in last place. But you will see team members make strategic moves to advance other team members on the next lap. Anything that we can do to help you get to where you want to go, we want to do it. And so I know, me specifically, I'm going Black Diamond. I've asked Samantha to go with me. She said, hell yeah. I asked Dana to go with me. She said, hell yeah. And so now we're looking for the people who believe that you deserve to have your dreams come true. This is an invitation for you guys, really, is what this has turned into. It's an invitation for you to stop settling. Like I said, it takes no courage to believe that nothing will work. If you believe that nothing will work, you're gutless. If you believe that this will work, now what is required of you is to believe it is so it can be so. You have to feel it as if it's already yours. I saw that Millionaire's Trophy in my hands. I knew it. I started saying it immediately that I was going to do it. And I've had to check myself on some thoughts along the way. I just texted Samantha yesterday and I said, you know, I realized since I've started, I've been walking around saying, I have no intention of being number one. What the hell? Like, who says that? That was an old, like, self-limiting belief that I had just had on repeat, telling me, you're not worthy of number one, so like shoot for 11. That's cool. It's not too much pressure, just get enough, you know. And so reset your threshold. If you're complacent right now, you've hit your threshold. If you are sick and tired and you're still sitting there, you've hit your threshold. For me, that threshold was $22,000 a month. That was a check that I had on my dream board for 4 years. I finally achieved it, and I was like, oh. And then up. I made it all the way up to 52. And that was like just inconceivable. $52,000 a month. What in the actual hell am I going to do with myself? And I slowly but surely started to make my way back down to my comfort zone, back down to what I thought was acceptable. I started using other people's fears to confirm my own self-limiting beliefs, that it wasn't going to work, that it was going to fall apart, that this year wasn't as good as last year. I started picking out everybody else's fears and making them my own. Thankfully, I chose a really great peer group who saw what I was doing and called me on my shit. And that's really important, to have people in your life that can speak truth to you that you can hear. Because sometimes what you need to know is it's you. It's not your team. It's not your upline. It's not your customers. It's not your Facebook. It's not the algorithm. It's not the products. It's not the loyal customer sign-up process. It's not corporate. It's you. If what you're doing is not working, the problem is you. You just keep trying to sell them the same shit that they don't want. But if they trusted you, and if they loved you, and if you offered value, they would listen to anything that you would tell them. And so that's what I had to start working on. How do I lead people into love? How do I engage my audience? How do I get them to trust me? Well, the way that I get them to trust me is I do something that's really scary, like be vulnerable and tell some of the skeletons in my closet and what I did to get past them, what I did to bury them. Your beautiful state. So how you're feeling right now, if you're like, yeah, I'm jazzed, that beautiful state is going to be tested. And if you're ready and you start asking for the answers, they will become available. And a lot of times it's through somebody else. So Dana and Samantha asked me to be here today because they've been telling you what you need to hear, but you're not hearing it. Because if you were, you wouldn't be having this conversation with us right now. But we believe that there are people on this call today who have not only what it takes to make it, but have more than enough. You guys are overqualified for any position that you could hold in this company. And I think what we hope you'll take away from this is to realize there's always a way. There is always a way. Your mind will always tell you, your brain will always tell you that it's not possible. But if you start to search for your truth, if you listen to your heart will always tell you what is possible, what is true for you. And just be willing to stand out and stand guard of your mind, because you're going to get off this and people are going to tell you that you're crazy. If you don't feed your mind consistently good stuff and surround people like this, you're going to start having breakdowns. And all it needs, all you need is that one little crack for those negative thoughts to start jumping in. And if you can't get on top of that horse and rein them in quickly, which you learn, okay? So if you're like, man, I've been beating myself up, because I'll tell you what, I had a rough few months as a new mom, and I was beating myself up, not being able to check every box. But you know what? Beating myself up did not serve my family. It did not serve me. It did not fulfill anyone. Playing small does not serve your family. It does not fulfill you. It does not fulfill your partner. It does not help your children come any closer to having the future that you want for them. But breaking outside of this safe place that you've created for yourself that's really uncomfortable because you hate where you're at place, you break outside of that and you just start taking little tiny steps forward to stretch yourself. You need more confidence, then it's time to do something scary. In the next 72 hours, you need to do something scary. In the next week, you need to do something, again, that's also scary for you. Scary might be as simple as yoga. That's what it was for me. I was scared to do yoga. So what did I do? I went to the beach. I did yoga with a whole bunch of other people, and I went live on Facebook for my first time doing yoga. Because not only am I going to stretch myself, but I'm going to be vulnerable and do it in front of everyone so that they can stretch with me. Practice your, what's the word I'm looking for? When you are congruent. Practice your congruency, doing what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to message 3 people when you get off of this Zoom, damn it, Message 3 people, because you know what? You're going to go to bed and you're going to feel like a boss. But if you don't message those 3 people, you're going to be sitting there for the next hour running through your head all the reasons why, confirming all of your self-limiting beliefs, saying, see what you do? You do this every time. Remember when you did it with that time and that time and that time and that time, and you'll just start going down the list, telling yourself all the reasons why you suck, which serves no one. And Carla said it to me today after our Zoom. I messaged her. I got emotional on our leadership Zoom today because I've had quite a few aha moments with Carla lately. And she said, what's the biggest thing holding you back from just going Black Diamond? And I said, me and guilt. And at first I didn't know where that guilt came from. And she goes, it always comes from ages 1 through 6. Why do you feel so much guilt in your life? Knowing full and well, I've been coached by so many amazing mentors. Guilt does not serve me. Guilt, shame, and regret. Let it go, right? Why am I carrying this load, this burden? What is this guilt that I'm feeling? And I pinpointed it. I felt guilty ever since I was a kid. As long as I can remember. My mom was 17, birth control and a condom. I'm still here. Ta-da! But I felt bad because I ruined her plans. And I loved my mom, and I didn't like seeing her struggle, but I knew from day one that I wasn't wanted. And instead of seeing that the world needed me so much, that God knew the world needed me so much that I defied all odds, instead of clinging to that light side of the fence, my brain automatically went to unloved, unwanted, unheard. Sit down and shut up. That's a house that I grew up in. So that unheard part, that came from that. Unwanted, well, I just told you. They tried to stop me and I'm still here. Unloved, well, I asked my stepdad to adopt me when I was 8. He said no. Boom. All 3 of my self-limiting beliefs, all 3 of my insecurities, all 3 of the bullshit excuses I have been carrying around for 8 years all stem back to 3 moments in my childhood. 3 things that I have carried and allowed to hold me back all this time. Now I'm going to pull a Howard Falco where he says, you did the very best that you could with what you had. I did not know all of this 8 years ago. I know this now. And so today, because how fast can you change? That fast. Just like that, right now. You just decided to change, you've changed. It's that easy. All you have to do is practice the art of letting go. And so I had my moment. And I cried, and I called Carla, and I worked through it, and I said, and she goes, so what's the one thing that you've always wanted to say that you've been too afraid to say? And I said, I want it all. She goes, you want it all, and you can have it because there are no limits. And isn't that the way you want Charlotte to be raised? And when she brought up my daughter, listen, I can have stuff. I can have baggage. I can have self-limiting beliefs. She cannot, right? That is one thing that I am willing to sacrifice. I am willing to do whatever I have to do. If I could be anything, Mom, then why weren't you? Runs through my head all the time. I will not allow her to grow up believing that there are limits. And here I was this whole time placing limits on myself. And it was all because of a discussion with Carla. And so I'm going to leave you guys with the ego is the story you've been telling yourself. The ego is your flesh. The mind, that's your spiritual connection with God. You know, I used to always think like God was up in the cloud. Carla even made fun of me one time. She's like, why do you always like act like God is separate from you? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a new Christian. I don't really know all the things, right? I can't quote the Bible 100 times. I just know what I believe. I feel it. I listen to it. I've heard him. I've had faith. And look at what he's done for me. But she goes, why do you think he's out, like up in the cloud? Like, he is in you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is a totally new concept. Just like I didn't understand that love didn't have to be earned, that it was just given. I didn't understand that until Charlotte was born. And she goes, it is over 300 times it's in the Bible that you are of him and he is of you, and that you can speak things into existence. And if you can change your brain, which you can every 10 seconds apparently, because your cells are turning over, something new you learn every day, that you'll be in alignment. And when you're in alignment, you can hear what he is telling you. He's in you. So those thoughts that you're having that say, talk to that person, that's him. Sign up for that event, that's him. Remember, fear is not of him. And there is no such thing as the devil with the pitchfork. He already took care of that. Remember when he died for us on the cross, he said, it is finished. The devil and the pitchfork is just an image that people created to scare you. The true devil, it's the master of our mind. He says it all the time, master your mind and you can have whatever you want. It's in the Bible, it says that. So the devil is your ego. It's that old self-limiting belief. And what you need to know, I'll end you with, is your brain is an organ. It has muscle memory, just like anything else on your body. And so your brain is designed to keep you right where you are. Your heart, your spirit, your mind, they understand faith. Your brain doesn't, but your heart does. And if you can focus on being heart-centered, on just being love, on just connecting people to what you love, on being unapologetically you, because you are who he made you for a reason. I went through all of that just to have that one aha moment. Over 3 decades of self-inflicted suffering to learn that, just so I could have this conversation with you, so that maybe you could hear something and you could take it, and then you'll be an ambassador diamond telling your team about an aha moment and a breakthrough, that you stopped talking about what you wanted to do and you started doing what you said you were going to do. Dana said, I changed your life. I didn't change her life. I facilitated a breakthrough. She changed her life. She stopped talking. She stopped allowing the ego to jump up and destroy her. She crushed the egg. She didn't let it turn into Godzilla and destroy her city. Crush the egg, guys. It doesn't exist. Listen, what do you believe about yourself? You already believe something. You might as well make it good. There is no monster. There is no devil with a pitchfork. It's your freaking ego working against you, trying to hold you back. But you know in your heart where you're supposed to be, and you know what has been promised to you. And if you don't, you can crack open that freaking Bible and it will tell you his promise to you is to prosper you, not to harm you. We're not just building our team, you guys. Newsflash, we're building his kingdom. This is what he wants you to be doing, is building your business. I ignored so many messages from so many people delivering messages from him to me. That video changed my life. What you said changed my life. And I always used to just say, I can't take credit for that. It's not me. It's never been me. And then I realized, okay, fine. That's my ego. I'm going to have some pride. It's not ego if you take credit for something that you've actually done. It's okay to do that. And so I took credit for being faithful and having inspired action, taking action on my inspiration. And so when you get off the Zoom tonight, I want you to take a minute, you tap on your heart 3 times to just kind of recenter yourself, because I just dumped a lot and a little bit of time on you. And I could go for 10 more hours. I've got books. I have a hardbound book. Look at this. I've got year 2, 2 through 4 right here in this one, and 4 through 8 right here in this one. And I've got them both open. I just sat down and prayed about what I need to talk to you guys about. And this is all me. This is all personal development and other people's words and taking their words and making it my own. And so you're like, how the hell is she saying all this stuff? It's because I lived it and I learned it and I wrote it down so I could share it. And so I want you to take some time, write down what you're thinking, write down what's going through your heart. If you started dreaming about some crazy things today, write it down. If you've got, that brain barrier, that brain heart barrier where you're being really nasty to yourself. Like, I realized that for the past couple of months, I've been saying things to myself I would never let one of you say to me. I've got a mean right hook. I probably would have used it. And I know for a freaking fact I would have not invited you into my house and allowed you to sit down at my table talking to me the way that I had been talking to me. And so I want you to just get real honest with yourself. And if you start to feed your mind new thoughts, because the only way, remember, if these self-limiting beliefs keep popping up into your head, because it's not just going to disappear now that you've made this decision. They're still going to be there. It's that muscle memory. It's that cell. It's going to pop up. The only way is to replace it with new thoughts. But you can't give any energy. I don't even want you to notice if that thought pops up that says you suck. I don't want you to be like, oh, there's that thought about I suck again. Because just that little brief moment of energy is feeding it. And if you feed it, it will grow. You let that thought pass over you like a cloud. And here's how I do it. I say, is that true? And it's always not true. And if it is, sometimes I need to look in the mirror and take some responsibility and own up to my actions or lack of actions that got me to where I am. And I do that. I put on my big girl panties and I try again. It's just like shooting a gun, you guys. You're not going to hit the bullseye on the first shot. You're not going to hit the center of the target at the first pull of the trigger. You adjust the sights. A 2 millimeter shift is all it takes. But once you have those sights set, anything could come in between you and where you're going, and it's not going to derail you. And that's what we want you to see. We want you to become so self-aware of your self-talk. Love yourself. Be good to yourself. Believe in the best about yourself. And take inspired action. I don't want you sitting on your phone 27 hours a day, right? Because there's more than 24 when you're on your phone. It's like the longest day ever. It's so unfulfilling and disappointing and depressing when you live your business behind your phone. Get out in the field. Go make friends. Be brave. Blitz somebody. Sign up for an event. Guys, you are missing the boat. Yes, edging got out. That's so good, Nicole. Ego. You are missing the boat on this coffee thing. There are so many things that you can be doing that you're not doing. A wrap did not have a place at a vintage craft show. Guess who now has a place at a vintage craft show? Coffee. Guess who wants coffee? Everyone. Guess who wants coffee with chocolate in it? Everyone. There's so much money to be made. This is the most exciting thing to happen to It Works Global since the Ultimate Body Applicator. And you guys get to be a part of it. And you get to be a part of a team that loves you, and we believe in you. And I could talk to you for another 10 hours. I'm going to stop there and tell you guys that I'm really thankful for you bringing me on the call tonight. I hope something I said hits you in the feels and encourages you and inspires you to do something. Take that faith-led action and do something. That's it. Just listen and do. Listen and do. Money comes easily if you just shut up and listen to what he says and then do what he tells you. And you have that faith because you believe it is so it can be so. You start feeling it. You start visualizing it. You want to be Black Diamond? Well, then the next time you see a Black Diamond, you make sure you ask if you can try their necklace on so you can feel the weight of that necklace around your neck. That's what Carla did. She stopped wearing her necklace, and now all she feels is the Black Diamond necklace. She went and bought a Black Diamond mattress. She sleeps on Black Diamonds. She wears only black underwear. That's interesting. I was like, I got to go underwear shopping. She just gave me permission to get jewelry. I've got to paint everything black. I'm looking for all diamonds now. Put them all around your house. Surround yourself. You are an ambassador diamond. You are top 100. You are worthy. And I love you guys, and I'm just so thankful for you. So thanks for having me today. I hope that was the ass kicking you were looking for.
Yes, Sarah, it always is. And we love you. And thank you so much for taking the time tonight to share.
You gave me 25 minutes. I'll take an hour. Thank you, Dana.
Fine. I should have known. But you guys, I hope you took notes tonight. We have 12 days left of the month. I know there's so many of you guys going for Ruby, Emerald, Diamond, Double Diamond, all the way up the scale. And we are cheering for you guys. And if you ever need anything, as you know, I'm here, Samantha's here. And now you guys all know our ambassador upline, because she said yes 8 years ago, you are all here. So if you don't follow Sarah on Facebook on Facebook, go follow her because she's amazing and she is a darling little girl that you'll just fall in love with.
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Voxer, Marco Polo, House Party. What else is there? YouTube. I've got some really great YouTube videos. If that didn't do it for you, there's one that I am sitting in the tiki hut and I tell you what real work is like. Go check that one out.
Yes, we should hook that. And she has an amazing one when she came out to Utah, and You went to town for a long time and cried, and we all cried. But you guys, we have 12 days left of the month, so I hope you got a lot out of tonight. I know I did. I took plenty of notes, like always. And let's kick ass this month. Samantha has something to say.
No, I don't have anything to say. I feel like Sarah did amazing. I'm so glad that we had her on. And I hope that y'all loved it. And thank you again, Sarah. We will talk to y'all soon.
We'll see you on next week's Zoom. Have a good night.